Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and final round of the 2022 Oman International Drift Championship. My name is Ian Waddington, and as you can see, the sun is still beating down on the track. And if you think it's hot outside, it's going to be hot on track tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and here we go. Haytham Al Hadidi, your first place qualifier, leads out Hamza Namet in that Virus E46 BMW. You can see Hadidi straight away, hot out the gate, no messing around. Gets himself transitioned perfectly through the centre of the circuit. Big front foot brake lock up though as he comes down into the outside zone. Oh wow, and a shortcut across the circuit for Namet as he now tries to get himself back into it. That throws Hadidi off. He doesn't get into the outside zone but does finish up the run. Hamza leads them out in that Virus E46 BMW, who is so happy to get himself qualified in top 32 action, carrying a lot of speed but struggles to maintain the rear wheel in that outside zone. Oh, and a big mistake from Hadidi though, and a massive mistake from Haytham Al Hadidi in the background. Oh, and another prolonged amount of straightening. Big understeer again. Oh, Hadidi on the ropes already. Could this be the story of his championship here? Oh, wheels on the inside of the circuit. Hadidi, there is no reason he can chase down Namet, and he just doesn't choose to. I think that was driver error. And there we go. Haytham Al Hadidi taken out of competition in top 32. Well. Goes on the green light, through down the gears they go. Ali Maxid to lead out Riyad Al Mabsali. Nice initiation. Oh, Mabsali drops wheels, looking like he had all of that nice proximity coming up. Now shortcuts the circuit, drops down the inside. Maxid doing a nice job. Did he get a little tap there from Mabsali on the inside as Mabsali drops wheels, takes out that front clipping point. Starting to fall apart now as Riyad Al Mabsali as he goes against a heavy hitter in Ali Maxid. Good transition back as Maxid sticks to that qualifying line. Mabsali does everything he can to try and regain some lost ground, but he just cannot get there. Light, green light, go. Maxid chasing down Riyad Al Mabsali, disposed of both the front bumpers. Well, a nice initiation from Mabsali. Starts to pull some ground. Oh, but he's leading Maxid off the edge of the circuit. Has to hold on to it for a second, regain some of that lost tarmac does Mabsali as he thinks about the situation. Nice front clipping point dialed in though, shallow angle, but he just cannot get to that outside zone. Mabsali gets himself into it. Maxid hot on the back bumper, but keeping just far enough away from Mabsali that he doesn't create a situation he doesn't want to be a part of. Across the line they go, Mabsali. There we go, the winner, Ali Maxid, gets the win. Shahani through that chicane, flicks the car wheel over the edge of the track already. Lalou goes for the back bumper. Nice initiation from Tariq Al Shahani. Starts to put some ground between himself and Lalou. Lalou shallows up the angle, drops down on the inside edge of the circuit, looks for the door, the carbon fibre door of that orange S13, but now Lalou makes a mistake and he can't hang with Shahani as Shahani puts a foot to the floor once again. Now looks forward up for that front clipping point. Tariq Al Shahani has an incredible lead line, starts to fulfill all of the driver goals that the judges were looking for in the briefing just an hour ago as Belushi brings it across the line. Now will Belushi feel a little bit more comfortable in that lead position? Certainly looks it as he comes hot up into the outside zone, and he does get a very nice line in that first outside zone, but here comes Tariq Al Shahani, matches the angle, gets the proximity. Look at this, he's going to almost cut himself up on the transition. Wow, Tariq Al Shahani on the inside, closer on that inside clip than what Lalou was. Oh, and contact. Can he stay in it? They both can. Very nice. Very nicely done from both drivers as now Tariq Al Shahani goes for the door once again. Shallows up, looks for the side of Lalou's S13. And across the line they go. Well, Belushi gets the win off the line. Martin Richards to take on Hussein Musulmani right now. Richards to lead the higher qualifier. Musulmani gets himself into the outside zone. Starts to wander out a little bit. Shallows up the angle, trying to keep proximity with Richards. Now shortcuts the circuit, does Hussein Musulmani. As he goes for the dive down, Richards collects that front clipping point perfectly. Gets into the outside zone. As Richards now keeping clear of Hussein Musulmani. Musulmani saying he's got all the equipment, he just needs some driver training, and Hussein Musulmani makes a huge mistake and dives straight across the track. Now, Richards can't play it too safe. He's going to have to still gauge some amount of proximity with Musselmani. Musselmani been laying down some nice practice runs today, but will he feel the pressure of the UK's very own Martin Richards breathing down his neck? And he certainly starts to feel the heat as Richards pours it on in bucket loads. Musselmani wavers through that front clipping point. You can see Richards holding back, allowing him to do his thing. And now Richards once again tucks up on the inside, allows Musselmani to get himself where he needs to be, waits for the transition. Richards parks the Skyline onto the side of the E46 BMW, and across the line they go. And there we go, Martin Richards gets the win, advances through into the top 16. And Ahmed Daham been looking absolutely incredible today so far in practice. Took second place at round 2. Can he do anything here at round 3? And unfortunately the pace just too much for Belushi in that red Ford Mustang as he tries to join back in on the party, but unfortunately that was a massive understeer on initiation and falls straight off the track. No messing around, straight back off. Belushi goes for it now, this time on initiation. Oh, drops way down on the inside. It's going to start making it difficult now for Ahmed Daham to chase down, as Daham does everything he can in his power to stay with that Ford Mustang 5-litre V8 underneath the bonnet. 2JZ underneath the bonnet of Daham's S14 starts to get hairy down the back end as Daham's car gripped up, ready for action. Didn't like that shallow angle. Daham now jumps up onto the side, and across the line they go. Ahmed Daham gets the win. Not something they do too much in Japan, apart from the Formula Drift Series. Here we go. Nice initiation, goes wide, starts to draw a wheel, and he's going to lead Bullseye off. Judges be looking at that one as they come down towards the wall. Takizawa goes for the back bumper on the wall as Bullseye looks for the transition back. Parked that car into the wall earlier on today in practice, and now Bullseye looking a little tentative as he chases down the back end of that Mark II. A transition back across the track. Moments of glory here for Bullseye as he makes big dives up onto the side of the Japanese driver's car, and across the line they go. Yeah, look at this. Takizawa takes a chance to start the jump from that start line. He's rightly to do that in the chase position. Or Bullseye keeps it tentative, but then works his way that back end into the outside zone, gets himself into the zone, not as deep as we'd like to see, but Takizawa now starts to fall behind. He starts to lose that proximity. This one a tit-for-tat battle at the moment. Bullseye down into that rear clipping point as he likes to pick up the front, certainly does. And Takizawa just not got the proximity. Two different battles as Takizawa stays in it. Bullseye takes him across the line. Bullseye gets the win. A turbo V8 underneath the bonnet of the S13 of Al Amri. Al Amri's in the points at the moment. He's looking strong. He's looking hungry. Look at this nice line for Al Amri. Gets himself wide on the outside zone. Stays committed. He's going to get very close to the wall as Solomon gets even closer in that chase position. Now Solomon falls back. Al Amri transitions, looks for the wall, and Solomon doesn't look to have the grip as Al Amri fires through the circuit with some serious pace. Transitions almost on full throttle. You can hear him just backing out as he now stands on the accelerator and takes the car to the wall. Al Amri on fire right now. Run 2, top 32. And you can see Al Amri backing off the throttle, trying to get himself perfectly timed. Looks for the nice initiation. Oh, Solomon straightens up. You can see them front wheels as the car, the 4-wheel slide in, and Solomon once again does the same thing as Al Amri holds on, wonders what's going on in front. Oh, and Al Amri puts in an almost over rotation. So here we go. This one going to be a tough decision. Oh, and now Solomon goes 4 wheels off track. Al Amri finishes up the run. So Ahmed Al Amri gets the win. What can Salim Saraf do They come through the gears, big flick across the track. Saraf on the back bumper, dials it in. Oh, Saraf, no messing around. Wavers ever so slightly, then gains the proximity onto the door. Goes Saraf. Can Saraf be the force that takes down Benedictus Cherba? Is he even going to give him room to manoeuvre? Whoa! And he punts him. He gives him a nudge. Did Cherba slow on the transition as he now gets himself into the outside zone? Cherba works his way back into the mode as Saraf comes firing through the smoke. On the throttle he goes, onto the door goes Salim Saraf as Saraf forces Cherba across the line. A lot of people saying he's off throttle, a lot of people agreeing. Well, here we go, we swap him around. It is Cherba to chase down Salim Al Saraf. This is a big one for Cherba. He needs the win. He goes for a wild initiation as Saraf gets deep, starts to drop wheels off the edge of the circuit, picks it back up again though as he fires smoke in the face of the Lithuanian. They come dangerously close to the wall and Cherba gets lost in the smoke on transition. Saraf is a man possessed right now. Salim Saraf is a wild man and he's hungry for it as he collects that front clipping point. Benedictus Cherba doesn't have the proximity. He needs to dial in the door. He drops wheels as Cherba hunts for the side of Saraf's 350Z. And what a wild ride that was. Here we go. One more time. Wow. Can Saraf upset the apple cart right now as they both go for a nice initiation? Cherba gets himself set up perfectly on the outside zone as he gripped the car up, and it looks like he has. But Saraf is there though. Saraf still gains proximity. Looks like he climbs up onto the side throughout the run. No contact. Look for this time as Saraf goes for the back bumper. Benedictus Cherba sticks on the stickiest pair of tyres he can find, and Saraf has a big understeer. Saraf understeers as he once again now tries to find a side of Cherba's E36 BMW. He gets onto the door as Saraf gets on the side and on the rear bumper across the line. Doesn't have the grip, doesn't have the pace. Wheels spun through the gears, down they come for the initiation. Saraf very wide, absolutely nailing the outside line, just a wheel wobble on the outside edge, and you can see Benedictus Cherba wobbling in the background, shallows up the angle as Cherba tries to hang with Salim Saraf right now as he fires across the circuit. Benedictus Cherba holding on for dear life, but Salim Al Saraf's lead line is nothing short of absolutely spectacular right now. Salim Al Saraf gets himself back into it in the outside zone, goes Saraf. Benedictus Cherba's on the door, on the rear wheel, and across the line goes Saraf and Cherba. One more time again! Wow! And will he stop Cherba from taking the Oman International Drift Championship? We're off through the start line. We go down through the gears. Saraf aggressive once again. Big dive. Saraf goes for the door. And Salim Saraf waits. Lets him get set up. Squeezes the throttle. That twin turbo V8 as he parks his wing mirror on the spoiler. Salim Al Saraf not messing around this time. He goes, transitions through the smoke, looks for the dive, positions the car on the foot brakes. Salim Al Saraf now works his way in, or understeers. Can he hold on to it? He certainly can as Salim Al Saraf understeers under brake and he transitions back. Saraf needs to find the door, and he can find the door as he gives him a little touch. Saraf with Cherba across the line. Saraf to lead, Cherba to give chase. And look at this, Cherba already creeping off the start line. He knows Saraf's got a fast car. Saraf starts to light the tyres up as he fires in. Very nice initiation for Salim Al Saraf. Shallows up the angle. Oh, he goes wide. Just about holds on to it now. Cherba starts to repay the favour. Does he get as close? He certainly does. Tucks a nose at E36 BMW up onto the inside, and now the transition was incredibly quick. Look at this from Cherba though, makes a big dive on the inside. Saraf dials on the angle, collects that front clipping point. Cherba's with him on the back bumper. They come through the outside edge of the circuit. Wheels dropped again from Saraf, and Cherba is all over the side of Saraf's 350Z, and I think that is it. A very happy man. Benedictus Cherba gets the win, advances through to the top 16. And Samir Sabit needs to do everything he can. Can he take down Bagzi? Oh, and an early initiation from Samir. Now finds himself way on the inside of the circuit. He's wavering. Bagzi stays in the zone, keeps to doing what he does best. And you can see Samir Sabit struggling after that failed initiation. Bagzi transitions back. A little wobble from Bagzi as he makes his way down onto the wall. Sabir gets himself into it now up on the inside, tries to gain some proximity back, but this one already swinging in the way of Bagzi. That Monster Energy ST suspension PS13 across the line as Samir goes for the door with the back end of the car. There we go, off the line. Samir Sabit, big wild initiation and probably more his style, and now he's been getting into it. Bagsy gives him the room to manoeuvre as Samir falls out of the outside zone. Stays full throttle as Bagsy looks for the door. That E36 BMW 2V8 screaming on circuit as Sabir goes for a wild transition, puts himself in the wrong place. Bagsy, the seasoned pro though, keeps his head cool and chases him down as Sabir now starts to panic and throws that E36 BMW all over the show. As Sabir falls out of the outside zone and across the line go Bagsy and Sabir. Bagsy gets the win, strengthens the championship. Here we go. Harbali to lead them out as Mazir chases down that carbon 370Z. As what can he do? As Harbali looks strong, just doesn't get as deep into the outside zone as what we'd like to see. Harbali goes for the transition across the track. He's going to sacrifice that front clipping point. Now he starts to make a mess of this lead line as Mazir tries to get back on the back end of that 350Z and he can't find it. No proximity as Harbali gets himself into that final outside zone and across the line. There we go. Light goes green. Both guys come off the start line. As I said, Harbali to chase down Mazir. Mazir fires in that carbon 350Z. He goes 3 wheels off circuit though, and you could see Harbali waiting, holding on to see what Mazir did. He knew there was going to be an error. He just waited to see where it would sneak up and what it would be. As now that cone gets dispatched to the outside edge of the circuit. Very scrappy lead at the moment, not giving a very nice chase run. As both guys get into the outside zone and across the line goes Harbali and Mazir. And there we go, Nasser Al Harbali gets the win. Clint Van Oort pulls to the line. Iliuk smashes off the clutch. Flames are up from the bonnet as two guys come screaming down into that first outside zone. Iliuk looking stronger and stronger. Clint Van Oort goes 3 wheels off track, dives back onto the circuit. Iliuk, surprised, doesn't know what to do, holds on and waits for his position. Now Clint Van Oort cuts off the front end of Dimitri Iliuk's boss kitted S14 as Iliuk now waits. He's upset the chase line massively. Clint Van Oort gets himself back into it, but Iliuk still shook, still shaken from the first half of the run. As Iliuk looks to get himself into the outside zone, Clint Van Oort finishing up the run nicely. And here we go. Through the gears goes Dimitri Iliuk. Nice initiation. Iliuk goes wide. Can he hold on to it? Oh, and now he goes 3 wheels off track. This is a tit-for-tat battle. Will it upset Clint Van Oort? And you can already see that Van Oort is way down on the inside of the circuit. Goes for the transition, looks for the back bumper. Does Clint Van Oort? Can he dispatch Dimitri Iliuk in battle? And I don't know if he can, as Iliuk now pulls some distance between himself and his Dutch counterpart. Clint Van Oort on the inside of the track now, making a whole load of mistakes as Iliuk gets foot to floor and across the line. One more time, yeah. So our traffic light has gone and our start line marshal just waving them away. Look at this from Iliuk though, onto the back bumper he goes for Clint Van Oort, and no doubt Iliuk would have been down in the paddock talking to Bagsy, Martin Richards and the rest of the crew, the Monster Energy team teaming up this weekend together to try and take down some names, and Iliuk would have been asking what he can do to take down Van Oort. And look at this big dive up into the door from Dimitri Iliuk as he looks for the back bumper, almost over rotates. Iliuk gets himself back in it. Clint Van Oort though looking smooth out front, gets himself in the outside zone. Iliuk goes for the back bumper and across the line. And there we go, Clint Van Oort trying to jump the line, trying to pace it out. He knows that Iliuk's got the pace, he's got the grip. Oh, look at that, almost contact on initiation. Nice initiation from Iliuk though as he sticks foot to floor. Look at the outside zone fulfillment from Iliuk as he puts ground between himself and Clint Van Oort as Iliuk dives across the circuit. Flicks it on lock, he's off throttle, but he gets back into it. That opens the opportunity for Clint Van Oort to dive on the door. As Iliuk now looks scrappy in front. Can he work himself back in? He can. As Clint Van Oort now looks scrappy, trying to chase down Iliuk. Iliuk on a very nice line on the outside zone. And across the line, that one a tough one again. Oh, Clint Van Oort gets the win. Will be Ukraine versus Ukraine. Kremitz, the seasoned pro, to take on Timo Lipski, the hottest property in Ukrainian drifting at the moment. And look at Kremitz. He knows he can trust the young gun Does he have the car to match the car, though? Kremitz shallows up the angle as Lipski fires smoke in the face of the camera. They transition through the centre of the circuit. Lipski starts to pour distance, and Sergei Kremitz rubs the back bumper on the wall. The Sergei Kremitz hangs on with a thin piece of string to this battle. He dives on the inside. Timo Lipski gains that confidence, gets on the throttle and brings them home. Oh, and through the cones he goes. No problems caused though as Timo Lipski goes for it, looks for the back bumper at ICE 200, gets himself deeper into outside zone, stands on the throttle as Lipski starts to fall away a little bit. Sergei Kremitz uses that experience, that age, that wealth of knowledge to put a gap between himself and the young gun. Lipski transitions, down he comes, sticks to that qualifying line, doesn't have the proximity but does have a very nice line. Can Lipski gain some lost ground back as Sergei Kremitz gets himself in to that final outside zone, and Timo Lipski has nothing in it as Kremitz takes him across the line. And one more time again. And the amber light goes green. Here we go. Lipski, Kremitz, Ukraine hungry for it. Nice initiation from Lipski. Gets that car dialed, and this time Sergei Kremitz doesn't look too scrappy. Gives him some room to manoeuvre as Lipski washes wide, looks for that wide arc, that big flick across the circuit to that front clipping point. And this time Kremitz, no mistakes, just no proximity from Sergei Kremitz at the moment. As Sergei Kremitz needs to get himself into the mix here as Timo Lipski, the 15-year-old Ukrainian, seems to be driving away. Hammers down, washes out the outside zone. Kremitz finds the back bumper, but it's already over. Kremitz through the gears. Lipski needs to gain some proximity, needs to be on the door, needs to be not leaving anything out there, and he's not going to leave anything out there as he makes a big dive across the outside zone as Kremitz keeps it shallow, keeps it conservative. Lipski looks for the transition, gets it done. Can he push on the inside? Of course he can. As Lipski goes for the inside of Sergei Kremitz's IS 200, Kremitz hammers the throttle through the floor as Lipski now loses some ground. As Sergei Kremitz looks for that final outside zone, both guys go for it. Lipski gets on the side and across the line. Timo Lipski gets the win. Sebastian Fontaine's car has snapped a rear wheel off of the back. Look at this. Fontaine has entered the tyre warming area and sheared the arm off of the car. And off the line they come. Both guys smoke the tyres. Mansouri was on form last weekend here, and he comes in hard and he's going to over-rotate. Just cannot hold on to it. He came in way too hot. As Rarahovsky transitions across the circuit, one of the fastest men on the track here in Amman in this 2JZ powered Toyota GT86 had big issues in practice. They had the gearbox out of the car. I do believe they put the spare sequential gearbox in, and you can see there Mansouri just driving across the track as Mansouri comes hot out of the gate, flicking that car from left to right. Big initiation. He goes wheels off the edge of the track, just about keeps one wheel inside the designated circuit, and an over rotation as Rostilev comes through the smoke. But Rostilev gets a little lost. He has to find out where he is to get himself back on that qualifying line. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is all she wrote there. For Rostilev Rarahovsky. Rostilev gets the win. Needs to be a little bit more aggressive. Add some jalapenos into that sauce as he fires it down now. Andreas Vasiliauskas looking good. Absolutely dialed on the outside line as Vasiliauskas puts in a big lead line, but Alzir shuts it down in the middle of the circuit. Alzir having trouble keeping up with the speed from the back, the pace produced by that carbon Kevlar E92 BMW of Andreas Vasiliauskas. Now as Vasiliauskas finds himself in that final outer zone, and across the line goes Vasiliauskas. Steam or smoke, but nevertheless he got it fixed and the officials are happy with him. Alzir though does sit with a huge deficit. Let's see how he gets on in the lead position. Vasiliauskas is just going to hold off just enough to keep himself in the fight, but not close enough to keep himself in trouble if Alzir does make a mistake. or lead him astray. And you can see Alzir does wash wheels off the edge of the circuit. Getting the job done though at the moment is Alzir. He gets himself in the outside zone. Wheels drop in and out and across the line, and I think that is as much as Turkey Alzir had at that moment in time. There we go, Andreas Vasiliauskas gets the win, and we go down through the gears. Little crab walk there from Hassani as he gets in and out of that outside zone. Strange angle, shallows up, looks like he's on and off the throttle as Chiab tries to position that C6 Corvette onto the door. Gives him the room to transition through the centre of the circuit. Oh, now Chiab starts to go wide. He's on that wrong line. He makes a dive, shortcuts the circuit, looks for the back bumper, can't get there. As Hassani lays down some fire in the smoke. As Chiab dives through the smoke up onto the side of the S14 across the line. Green light means go. Chiab would love a shot at the top 16. And now Chiab puts down an absolute killer lead line, but look at Hassani right there on the door as Hassani flirts with danger, nosing that S14 onto the side of that C6 Corvette, waits for the transition. Hassani gets left in the background ever so slightly as Chiab goes full throttle through the outside zone, picks up that front clipping point, absolutely buried on the throttle is Chiab as he once again sets himself up for the final outside zone, and Hassani just can't get there. Some fresh air, and there we go. Mohamed Chiab gets the win. Our first top 16 battle on the line, ready to go. Maxi to take on Namne. Here we go, green light, we are good to go. First battle of our top 16 underway. Let's see how action plays. Looks like Maxi slowed down ever so slightly then on the initiation. Gets into it though. Oh, and now Namne struggles to get himself in that outside zone, just can't get there. As Maxide gets good line up into the wall and across the centre of the circuit. Maxide into that front clipping point. Namne keeping his distance, can't seem to find some proximity. Goes for the dive across the track. Sacrifices the outside zone, but still can't find the side of Ali Maxide's GT86. As Maxide puts foot to throttle, up to the wall he goes and across the line. Now for a spot in the Great 808s, and it looks Maxide is going to have to be very careful here. Namnet, an unknown entity in this level of competition. And Namnet on and off the throttle. You can see him struggling to get the back end of that BMW out to the outside zone. Now finds a little bit of confidence as he stands on the accelerator, picks up that front clipping point. Namnet finds himself down the back end of the circuit, up into the wall. Looks for that front clipping point. Not a bad job so far. Now starts to look dialed as Maxide looks for the back bumper. Gets himself in the outside zone. Maxide perfectly placed. And across the line goes Namna and Maxide. Ali Maxide gets the win. And Richards leads out Belushi, a.k.a. Lalu. Very fast. What can Lalu do? Richards on form, on pace today. Big initiation from Richards. A little waver in the outside zone, but then gets it dialed. On the throttle he goes. Lalu drops down to the inside, trying to gain some proximity back. Looks for the back bumper on the skyline. Can't get there as Richards transitions back. Now Lalu starts to lose some ground. Is he going to make a choice decision to make a dive, or will he stick to that qualifying line? And Lalu doesn't opt for a big dive. Goes for a little one on that transition into the final outside zone. And Lalu looks for the side of Richards' skyline. Little nose up on the inside. Just can't get there though. For a spot in the Great 808s through the chicane goes Lalu. Down, he screams through the gears, headlights shine into the camera lens as Martin Richards goes for the inside line, looks for the door. Lalu not as high up as Richards was on that lead line. Now Richards starts to apply the pressure, gets himself tucked up on the inside of that S13 as he gives him the room to manoeuvre for the transition. Martin Richards just straightens out the angle, shallows up as he noses the front end of that Nissan Skyline R32 clearly on the door. Comes through the smoke, does Richards as Lalu dials on big angle, and he's going to sacrifice the outside line that opens the door once again for Richards to get up close and personal. There we go, Martin Richards gets the win. Ahmed Daham though on form, looking strong this weekend. Here he comes, down leading in. A higher qualifier. Oh, Hamdan with a little wobble there. Bullseye just struggling to get into it as the grip dialed into the back of that S14 of Daham's picks him up, propels him around the outside zone. He transitions back. Tidily done from Daham. He's on a form that no one else can seem to find this weekend. Daham with the perfect lead line at the moment. Bullseye just not taking the opportunity to get on the door in that chase position as Daham gets the rear wheels in that rear zone and across the line. And here we go. As we said, Daham on another level this weekend. Can he hang with Bullseye right now? Can Bullseye give him the opportunity? And he certainly can. Very nice lead line at the moment from Bullseye as he finds himself nice in the outside zone. Daham, you can see, struggling. That car gripped up to the max. And Daham having to really shallow up the angle, balance that car on some good angle to try and stay with Bullseye. Daham not in the fight, no proximity, as he can't really get himself onto the door. Across the line, a strange battle between those two guys. So here we go, decisions in, and there we go, Ahmed Daham. Ahmed Daham gets the win. And Cherba knows he's getting hunted down. He's got a target on his back this weekend. Here we go, Ahmed Al Amri to lead in Benedictus Cherba. Nice initiation from Amri, almost picks up that front wheel as he squeezes the accelerator and puts all the power down. Cherba on the door though, Cherba all over the side of that S13 as they transition back. Cherba gives him the room, looks for the opportunity now and waits for Al Amri to get down on the outside zone. A little correction for Amri creeping in as Cherba waits through the smoke to it that I've done. And Cherba on that weird line, he's off of the outside zone, can't find the door as Al Amri gets it done. Can it make its way through? Al Amri with the higher horsepower car goes for that midline initiation, and look at that, squeezes that S13 into the zone, up onto the front wheel he goes as Al Amri backs it in, almost touching rear wheels. Al Amri wobbles as they come through the centre of the circuit. Big dive from Al Amri. Al Amri not scared whatsoever of the Lithuanian driver, and look at Al Amri, stalls himself up on the inside. He has to work hard now. You can see him drop down on the inside of the circuit. Al Amri making a few mistakes. Cherba back bumper to the wall and across the line. Benedictus Cherba gets the win, and Nasser Al Habali will chase down Bagsy in the Monster Energy ST suspension PS13. Nice initiation from Bagsy, but look at Habali. He scared himself. Could have stayed in it, and Harbali just threw away a perfect opportunity to chase down Bagsy. It was a door open for Harbali. And he throws himself into a spin. I wonder if there is a problem with that car. Harbali dumps the car in the middle of the circuit and now gets it back moving under its own power as Bagsy finishes out the run. And Harbali, well, will he make his way back to the start line? He says he's ready to go. The amber light flashes, the green light goes. Nasser now has to lead out Bagsy. It looks like it's going to work for Nasser. Fires that car in. Bagsy gives him the room to manoeuvre. Waits for him to get himself in the outside zone. Bagsy knows he's the front end of that PS13 onto the front wheel of that 350Z. Nasser accelerates across the circuit. Bagsy waits for the opportunity, and there he goes. Up onto the side, gives him the room, waits for the opportunity as Bagsy and Nasser come through that front clipping point. Bagsy dives, looks for the side. And Bagsy just holds on to it as Nasser shuts it down. Bagsy avoids serious contact and completes the run. There we go, Bagsy gets the win. Jabir got the bye against Sebastian Fontaine. He now sits on the line in top 16 to take on Rostislav Rarahovsky, the fastest man around this circuit. What has Jabir got? Can he hang with the Ukrainian driver? And doesn't look like he's got anything at the moment. And Rarahovsky up and gone as Jabir just can't seem to find any pace in that 350Z as Rarahovsky gets the job done across the line. Well, here we go, off the line. Mohamed Al Jabir to lead out Rostislav Rarahovsky. And Rarahovsky, we've said it before, we'll say it again, one of the fastest guys around this circuit. And he's going to struggle with a little bit of pace here, is Rarahovsky. He's going to be overly gripped up. And he balanced that 2JZ GT86 on the back bumper of that V8 350Z. Rarahovsky finds himself on the outside edge of the circuit in the wrong place. Rarahovsky needs to reassert himself, think about what he's doing, pull his socks up, get himself back in the zone as Rarahovsky does get himself back into the zone. Across the line goes Rarahovsky. So Rarahovsky gets the win, advances through into the Great 8. That Pro Drift Academy Corvette C6. Whoa! Wild flick from Vasiliauskas, but Chihab gets into him and Vasiliauskas spins. Did they make contact? Here we go, second half of the battle underway. Mohamed Chihab to lead out Andreas Vasiliauskas. Big flick in from Mohamed Chihab. He's way off track. Two wheels dropped off the backside of the circuit now as Chihab tries to stay in it. Vasiliauskas on the door. Vasiliauskas tucks himself right up on the inside, almost makes contact as he forces Chihab to go super wide. Vasiliauskas goes even wider again as he carries some crazy angle through that bottom corner. Looks for the transition back, and now Vasiliauskas can't seem to find the side of that C6 Corvette as Vasiliauskas looks desperately away at Chihab disappearing. Mohamed Chihab gets the win and takes down Andreas Vasiliauskas. Here we go. It will be battle for a place in the Great 8. Clint Van Oort fires that car into the outside zone. Timo Lipski looks for the side of that S14 as Clint Van Oort hammers the accelerator through the floor. Anger running through the veins in this man's body right now as Clint Van Oort transitions back once again. Timo Lipski bounces and hops across into the outside zone. Goes Clint Van Oort as Lipski looks for the back bumper. They get themselves back into it. A transition across the circuit as Clint Van Oort fires into the outside zone and Timo Lipski looks for the back bumper across the line. Through the start line goes Timo Lipski, hammers through the gears. The youngest property in Ukrainian drifting fires in that E46 BMW. Clint Van Oort shallows up the angle, goes for the dive on the door, certainly makes it sick as Timo Lipski absolutely squeezes every inch out of that tyre, out of that track he can as Clint Van Oort looks to try and hunt down the young Ukrainian. Can he get there? He's going to shortcut the circuit if he even tries to remotely gain some proximity back. Timo Lipski gets himself into the outside zone. Here comes Clint Van Oort. On the door goes Clint Van Oort as he puts the wheel to the door. And Clint Van Oort gets the win, advances through into the Great 8. And the first battle of our Great 8 will be one that we're going to revisit for round 3. It was one we see in round 2, and this one was hot and heavy. It will be Ali Maxid to chase down Martin Richards. These two contenders went head to head multiple times at round 2. Can they get it done cleanly at round 3? Looks like a good job so far. Richards deep in the outside zone. Nice transition. Maxid onto the back bumper, onto the side. Oh, lose a little bit of ground as the car backfires. Maxid now waits to get himself back into it. As you can see him on the left foot brake. Dials that car in, drops a wheel on the inside, slows the car down. Richards deep into that final outside zone. Onto the wall and across the line on the door goes Maxid and Richards to chase down Ali Maxid. Maxid, big aggression, goes for the big flick. Keeps his own side of the track, gets himself in the outside zone, opens the door for Richards. Richards on the door, looks down the side of that 2JZ GT86 and Richards and Maxid, no messing around. They're going to get a clear run and a fair battle at it this time as Richards gets super close to the back end of that 86. Incredible line for Richards there as he hunts down Ali Maxid's GT86, a little lost ground as Maxid goes super wide, but Richards cuts across the circuit, gets the proximity back, gets on the door and across the line. Oh, and it's going to be a one more time. There we go. Looks like we are going to move things along. It will be the one more time battle between Richards and Ali Maxid. Martin Richards to lead, Maxid to give chase. Big flick initiation from Richards. He gets himself perfectly into the outside zone, opens the door for Ali Maxid as Maxid looks for the side of Martin Richards. Driftworks R32 Nissan Skyline. We just can't get there at the moment as Maxid holds off, waits, looks for the dive as Richards goes very deep on the outside zone. Richards foot flat to the floor as he transitions back. Big dive from Maxid, but he overcompensates, just about holds himself into it as Maxid makes a big aggressive dive. And both guys hungry for a spot in the final 4. This is to battle Ahmed Daham for a place in the final. Who's going to get it? Look at this from Richards. Incredible so far. Richards not scared. Gets that Skyline all up in the business of Maxid's 86. Drops away a little bit as Maxid squeezes the throttle, tries to pull away from Richards as Richards goes for a brave dive on the inside. Maxide now starts to pull away as Richard once again makes a dive up into the door, puts the front end of that Skyline right up in the business. Is he going to go for it again? Of course he is. Richards goes for yet another dive onto the door. Maxide opens the door and Richard takes a step in. Martin Richards gets the win and gets himself into the final four. Ham on form. Let's see what he's got against Benedictus Cherba. Both guys fighting for the championship. Nice initiation from Ahmed Daham. Benedictus Cherba shallows up the angle, dives across the circuit looking for the door. Daham opens up the throttle and starts to drive away. Benedictus Cherba lost in the smoke as big separation opens up. Daham absolutely screams through the circuit. Picks up the front wheel. Benedictus Cherba just cannot seem to get himself in the mix as Ahmed Daham fires the Red Bull S14A through the circuit and across the line. Here we go. Through the start line they come down through. Daham tucks himself into the back bumper onto the side of that E36 BMW. Oh, shallows up the angle. As Benedictus Cherba now starts to find the groove, gets himself into it, stands on the accelerator, but Daham's right with him, almost gets himself caught up. No, Benedictus Cherba puts two wheels on the inside of the circuit. Judges would have seen that as Daham keeps himself balanced perfectly on the side of that E36 BMW. Through the smoke comes Ahmed Daham as he looks once again to glue himself in position as Daham rides the door of Benedictus Cherba across the line. Decisions in. Daham gets the win. There we go. Amber and green, and we are good to go. Chiab to chase down Rostilav for the spot in the final four. Nice initiation. Rostilav way down on the inside of the circuit, though. Bleeding points away so far is Ukrainian. Massive mistakes from Rostilav as Chiab holds back and lets Rostilav make mistakes. Oh, Chiab puts himself into the wall as Rostilav now tries to complete the run, drops the wheel on the outside edge of the circuit, and Chihab completes the run. Well, here we go, tyres smoked off the line, big flick across the circuit for Chiab as he throws a wheel on the outside edge of the circuit. Chiab now absolutely hammers down, looks down the wall for that outside zone. Rorohovsky still with him though as they transition back. Rorohovsky looks for that front clipping point, collects it perfectly as Rorohovsky makes a big dive up to the side of that C6 Corvette, tucks the front end of the 86 right where it shouldn't be as Rorohovsky gets up close and personal with the rear wheel, now moves it down towards the door as Rorohovsky gets himself right in position. There we go, Rostilav Rorohovsky is the winner. Through they come, down through the gears. Bagsy to lead out Clint Van Aert. This is for championship points right here. Oh, Clint Van Aert, big understeer, wheels off circuit. Bagsy sticks the rear wheel right to the edge of the track as he lights up the tyres. Clint Van Aert tucks on the inside, waits for the transition. Clint Van Aert looks back for Bagsy as he goes wide onto the wall. Clint Van Aert, perfect line up onto the inside as Clint Van Aert once again looks for the side of Bagsy's S13 as Clint Van Aert noses himself onto the front wheel, gives him a rub, and Clint Van Aert pushes Bagsy across the line. Bagsy to chase down Clint Van Aert. Netherlands versus UK. Monster Energy ST suspension PS13 on the back bumper. Bagsy knows he has to give Clint Van Aert the best chase he has in him right now. Bagsy needs to turn it up to 100 if he stands a chance of getting in that final four. Clint Van Aert, oh wow, Bagsy almost takes the back end off of Clint Van Aert's car as Clint Van Aert stays in it. Bagsy gives him a little rub on the door and says, come on buddy, you want to be up here, let's party. And look at this as Bagsy now makes another dive. Clint Van Aert out of the outside zone, Bagsy onto the rear corner and across the line. And there we go, Bagsy gets the win. Sorry, we were doing the points, we was having a chat. Kieran Hines just quickly came down to have a quick catch up, a quick word with us before we moved into the final four first battles. And yeah, it is close, very, very, very close. Now Cherba is out, now Van Aert is out, now Hadidi is out. It could be anyone's. Here we go, off the line we go. Martin Richards starts to jump the start line. Daham looking on form. Richards goes for the front wheel and makes big contact Daham takes a big hit from Martin Richards. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Richards? Is it going to be Daham? Daham, Richards through the gears, down. Daham's hungry, fires up onto the side of the Driftworks R32, then backs out of it, lets Richards, gets himself set up. Richards full throttle through the back end of the circuit, now starts to open up a little lead as Daham looks for the side of the Driftworks Skyline, can't seem to find it at the moment as Daham even shallows up the angle. Richards fires it on, full throttle from Martin Richards as he gets himself into the outside zone, and anger powering Martin Richards through as Daham looks hungry for it. And there we go. Ahmed Daham gets the win. Bagsy to lead out. Rostislav. Rarahovsky through the gears they come. Rarahovsky dives across the track. Nice initiation from Rarahovsky as he almost gets himself perfectly on the side of Bagsy's car. Rarahovsky washes wide. Rarahovsky washes wide. Can't hold on to it as Bagsy sticks the back end to the wall now. Transitions across the track. Rarahovsky starts to nose that GT86 in on the side of the Monster Energy ST suspension PS13, and Rostislav is right on the door of Bagsy's PS13 as they transition together through the centre of the circuit. Rostislav goes for the front wheel as Rostislav sticks it to the side, and across the line they go. Wow, what a battle between these two guys. The car slamming into gear. Bagsy jumps the start line. He knows Rarahovsky's fast. He knows he's got the pace. He knows he's got the grip. Bagsy looks for the back bumper, goes for the door as Rostislav gets himself set up nicely. Bagsy shallows up the angle. Rostislav dials on the angle as the Ukrainian driver absolutely peels away from the wall, and you can see the pace in Rarahovsky's GT86. Bagsy wobbles. Both guys have a moment of shallow angle down towards the wall as Rostislav stands on the accelerator. Come Bagsy find the back end of that GT86 as Rostislav absolutely flies away. And I've got a feeling this could go one more time, and there we go. It is a one more time. UK versus Ukraine, green light, go. Here we go. Bagsy leads out Rarahovsky. Remember, Rarahovsky took Bagsy to school a little bit on that lead chase run as Bagsy wanders and wavers in that outside zone. Rarahovsky looks for the door, shallows up the angle, too much grip dialed in maybe as Rarahovsky almost cuts his nose off to spite his face. Bagsy gets himself down into the outside zone, now dials himself round to this front clipping point. Rarahovsky still with him, dives through the smoke. Does Rarahovsky as he looks once again for the door, gumps right up on top of it as Rarahovsky takes it to the wheel. Who is the best driver this time? Bagsy not messing around, straight into it, down he goes, initiates across the track. Rarahovsky out of the outside zone, drops himself into it. Bagsy right with him, jumps up onto the door. Bagsy not scared this time. Rarahovsky hits the wall and spins. And Rarahovsky gets himself too caught up, makes contact with Bagsy. Bagsy gets the win. Bagsy goes to the final. We are ready for our final four battles. Of course, you can see him on your screen. It will be Ahmed Daham to take on Steve Bagsy Biagioni, and it will be Martin Richards to take on Rostislav Rarahovsky of that Toyota GT86. Here we go, no messing around. Light goes green. Both cars absolutely fly from the start line. Richards to lead out Rostislav as Richards digs deep, puts foot to floor, and it looks like a D-bead. Is it a D-bead? No, it isn't. Richards just running those tyre pressures as low as possible. But Rarahovsky still with him as Richards enters the wall in a big way. Martin Richards parks the car in the wall as Rostislav Rarahovsky finishes up the run. And Martin Richards fires that skyline into the wall. I believe Richards had a D-bead. Yeah, he did. He had a D-bead on that driver's side. Or did the car shut down? That was a big hit with the wall. So there we go. Rostislav Rarahovsky will come off the line and complete his buy run. And he puts in a spin. So there we go. Rostislav Rarahovsky, all he had to do was come off of the start line, and Rostislav Rarahovsky fulfills that. So it will be a podium for Rostislav Rarahovsky The Ukrainian driver in a 2JZ Toyota GT86. Here we go, Bagsy to lead out Daham. Daham creeps off the line. We're green, we're good to go. Bagsy through the gears. Daham straight onto the back bumper. Shallows up. Daham drops on the inside. Looks for the side. Goes for the front wheel. Daham hungry. Onto the door. Goes Daham. Bagsy takes it to the wall. Almost takes out the cameras. Daham gets smoked out. Daham has a wobble. Daham gets smoked out through the centre of the circuit. Now Bagsy dials on the angle. Daham looks for the door. Once again, Daham looks for the inside. Can he find it? Oh, he's on the inside. Daham makes a mistake again as Bagsy gets himself into the outside zone. Daham finds the door on the rear quarter across the line. They go. This is for the championship. This is for the final round of the 2022 OIDC. Here we go through Daham, hot and heavy as Bagsy drops in behind. An early initiation from Bagsy. Daham goes 2 wheels off track. Bagsy follows him as Daham brains it back in, brings that car back on circuit. Daham fires through the middle, no wobble this time as Bagsy navigates his way through the smoke. Bagsy shallows up, waits for Daham. He goes deep on the wall as Ahmed Daham looks to put in an impressive run from the judges. Bagsy dives through the smoke. Daham dials on the angle. Bagsy can't find the proximity. He's out of the outside zone as Bagsy looks for the rear quarter and across the line they go. Ladies and gentlemen, taking third step on the international round 3 is Rostislav Rarahovsky. Taking second step on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ahmed Daham. Ladies and gentlemen, your round 3 OIDC winner is Steve Bagsy Biaggioni.
صوت تذكارية مع راعي المناسبة مع الأبطال ستيف باغزي أحمد دحام وروستسلاف راراوسكي.
And ladies and gentlemen, taking third place in the Oman International Drift Championship. Give it up for Ahmed Daham.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Well done, Ahmed Daham.
Ladies and gentlemen, taking second place in the championship. Give it up for Benediktas Cherba. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Benediktas Cherba takes second place in the Oman International Drift Championship 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your new Oman International Drift Championship winner 2022, Bagsy, Steve Bagsy Biaggioni.
Well done, Bagsy. Well done. إذن بطل هذه النسخة الرابعة هو البريطاني ستيف باغزي.
Well, Habib, what an event, what an absolute honour to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your OIDC International Drift Champions. Bagsy takes the championship, Benediktas Cherba in second place, and then Ahmed Daham takes third. Well, from me, Habib, it's been an honour. Thank you very much. I'll let it hand out to you.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.